Hey everybody! Welcome to Geek Girl versus Nerd Boy. I'm Russell Frost.
I'm Brianna Hasty.
And you know who's who. It's obvious, right? I mean...
They might not.
Pardon her sarcasm. I'm Russell Frost and she's Brianna Hasty, but we're...
Geek Girl.
Geek
Nerd
Girl,
Boy.
Nerd Boy, yeah.
That's how it works. We're here today to talk about, since we are an unofficial Marvel show... The only thing in the Marvel universe that matters right now, WandaVision.
The only new thing we get.
Yes.
It's not like we chose to be fixated on this thing. This is it. This is the one little thing they're throwing us during COVID.
No. So, this is your spoiler alert. If you've been on the internet for the past 3 weeks, it's probably already spoiled for you. But this is your last chance to stop, turn around, pay for Disney Plus, watch WandaVision. They're going to get your money anyway. Just give it to them now. Make your life easier.
This is episodes 1, 2, and 3, by the way, of WandaVision. And we'll do something probably after the next 1 or 2 as well. Because we're kind of... I'll only speak for myself. I'm a big Vision fan. I like Wanda as well, so. And
I'm an everything fan.
You are. Everything. You are. That's true.
There are very few things I don't like.
There's a lot of this show that's going to be Brianna talking about stuff that I have no clue about. Because I'm not that. Well, so let's. Yeah.
Okay, to be very clear, I only know because this is how I watch. Okay, I watch. I go research, like I start with my own theories and I'm like, I think this might be important. Then I go online and people who are much more dedicated to me tell me a million things that I missed. Then I go back and watch it and I'm like, oh, I see, I get it.
And that's oddly enough, that's very similar to my process, but I do it with very few things. Like, I haven't done it with this show only because I just haven't.
I was going to say, we live in the same place. I watch it first, then I research, and then you're like, hey, you want to watch WandaVision the next day?
Right.
So...
No, I know. But I mean, usually with a lot of the movies and stuff that I do, I'm a watch more than once person. I like to then dig into the credits and the notes and to find out why this is that. I'm not as big a fan of I hate whenever you put in like new Avengers trailer and you get like 10 things that are like 5 Easter eggs in the trailer you miss. It's like, no.
Yeah, just let me watch the trailer once.
Yeah.
Let me get excited.
Yeah.
And then I can watch it and I can enjoy it. And then people who are much nerdier and geekier than we are, meant in the loving way because that's who we are.
Good luck with that too, by the way.
No, they're there. I did research this morning while I was at the laundromat.
There, but wow.
All right, so to circle back to our topic, WandaVision. Super irregular show, super weird. This does not fit in with the Marvel universe that we are accustomed to at all. And in the spirit of that, I would like to begin at what I feel is a very natural spot with 2 of the best comic book movies there are, Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2.
I love Kick-Ass.
As well you should.
I love Kick-Ass.
I love Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I saw it once.
I love it.
Yeah, no, Kick-Ass 1's a great movie.
Now, you want to know why?
Why?
Because apparently one of the newest fan theories, and I tried to find any kind of official report about this, and I could not find anything, but also I get distracted really easily, so I gave up. Yeah, just like that. Don't play with that pen, or I will be distracted by it.
Shiny!
As everybody knows, Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2 star both Quicksilver and Quicksilver.
In both iterations, yes. Yes.
So you have Evan Peters in the X-Men franchise. And actually, I'm not a huge fan of the newest X-Men movies, but I do love Days of Future Past. Absolutely love Days of Future Past, which is where we first get introduced to Evan Peters' Quicksilver.
It's a pretty good movie.
It is a great movie. I love that movie. I mean, it's not like in the plethora of comic book movies that there are, it's not like amazing, but specifically in the new X-Men films, that one stands out the most to me. Quite honestly, it's because they brought Rogue back even for just that 1 second. I was promised way more Rogue. I was super pissed the whole movie, and then we got that one last second of her at the end, and I was like, oh my god, Rogue, yay!
She's back.
Yeah, and everything was good again.
I like the newer X-Men movies. Well, except for the bad one.
We're going to circle this back around.
We're going to skip that.
That's a conversation for another day.
That's another, that's 2 hours all on its own.
Yeah. So that would be Evan Peters, a.k.a. Ass Kicker, and then Pietro in the MCU, played by Taylor Aaron Johnson. What his three name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be Kick-Ass. And apparently the latest fan theory, and again, I haven't seen this anywhere, but someone reported that Kick-Ass, for the ease of using names and distinguishing actors, was either in talks or is going to be in WandaVision in flashbacks. But the next thing I heard right after that is in the vein of the new multiverse, using Wanda and Vision's sons, who grow up to be Tommy and Billy, grow up to be Speed and Wiccan. I can't tell you which is which. I have no idea. That's way beyond my comic book knowledge. I just know their names. But Speed, the idea is that Evan Peters can be introduced as Speed. So, like, he could join the cast and be their adult son. Because as we see in episode 3, her pregnancy is sped up. And the trailers show us a Modern Family type set, which over half that cast is kids. Like, older kids, not just infants. So it could be theorized that their kids age rapidly.
Oh, sure, right?
Yeah.
Increased metabolism and all that. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this
I
is
hate
their
that,
theory.
but...
And Evan Peters can either, or Ass Kicker can either join as his X-Men Quicksilver in a multiverse, or be Speed, who is also Quicksilver, and yeah, so that's starting at the end.
I don't think I'm buying any of that.
No?
It all sounds like
Who
bullshit
out
to
there?
me. I don't know. It's like that sounds like something one of the producers of one of those X-Men movies might get points on. So they're like, let's tweet this out. Go watch Kick-Ass 2 again! Right? And dude's like, royalty check. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm cynical, but you and I, we've already talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this is going to be us just rehashing it because that's the reason we do this. So one of the things that's wonderful about the show is how layered it is how much stuff they have crammed into what is ostensibly and superficially a cheesy send-up of nostalgic TV.
Which is also the beautiful, complicated side of it. So, if you want to circle back to the beginning, episode 1 of WandaVision, black and white, love letter to Dick Van Dyke and I Love Lucy, very clearly, and I learned today that they actually had Dick Van Dyke consult on the show to get that little extra measure of what it meant to be on a sitcom at that era.
which is beautiful.
Amazing!
But for me, there's a bigger question, but I don't want to get to that right now.
Okay, so episode 2, combination of classics I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched. Bewitched being the main focus. Episode 3, we hit the 70s, and you very clearly get the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch, specifically in the backyard. And if anybody clearly remembers Marcia getting her nose broken by a football, then you very clearly recognize that patio and the swing set. They literally just copied the Brady Bunch backyard.
I mean, little bits of it have been, yeah, like as close as they can get on some instances, and some of it's just brilliantly. I mean, the sets have been brilliantly done.
Amazing. The detail is beyond spectacular, changing not just the sets, but also the physical build and architecture to meet each decade is crazy impressive.
I mean, again, you mentioned this. They changed the theme song of the
Yes!
episode.
That was the number one thing. Before it started, I was like, Russell, do you think we're going to get a theme song? If they're doing a sitcoms have theme songs. And we get a new theme song every week, and it's beautiful. I'm particularly fond of the 70 one with the WandaVision, WandaVision, WandaVision. Like, absolutely love it.
You will never hear me sing on this show, ever. Not even by accident.
That's only like the 4th or 5th time I've done it.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I'm super talented, guys. You have no idea.
She's a multi-tool player.
My Grammy's coming any day now. Okay, anyways. So, one of the other things that I learned in this research is that to properly emulate, and again, because I love TV so much, and I grew up watching TV Land, I got all of those reruns and those sitcoms, and this is something that I floated to Russell before the show started.
Who saw this stuff when it came out?
Yes, well, my theory had been, from the beginning, that Wanda created her own prison.
Well, so this gets into the... Right.
Yes.
I mean, we can talk about like the superficial aspects of the show, what it looks like visually and the theme songs and all that, but what the hell is the story here?
Yeah. Well, before we get to there, this is what you shot down, but this is what my research specifically said.
I shot it down.
You shot it down.
That's so dramatic.
I was like, I bet Wanda was like me and grew up watching those classic sitcoms, so they're using that idea. Like, she created the vision of, yeah, look at me go. The ideal American...
Tune in next week and find out.
The ideal American life based on the classic sitcoms, because she probably grew up watching them like I did. And you're like, that's dumb, they're in Sokovia.
Yet, Wanda on this show speaks very American. There's no Sokovian accent.
Which we can easily assume is very specific. Because she slips back into her accent when she's talking about Pietro. So after the babies are born.
And she sings.
Yeah, she sings a Sokovian lullaby.
Allegedly.
Yes, according to what they say.
Because we know it's not a real place. Okay, thank you.
Do we though?
Good point. Have you been there to see the hole in the ground? No.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Okay.
So, yes, that was my theory from the beginning. Because I just love in that trailer, you hear Randall Park's voice over the radio, and I think it's in episode 2, when she's with Dottie, that she hears it when he goes, Wanda, who's doing this to you? And I just thought from the beginning that Wanda was doing it to herself.
I mean, so you can watch this at that superficial level and not really engage with the story and just go, oh, it's funny and these characters we like and they're totally different now and it's wacky. But yeah, again, for me, what the hell's going on? And we're 3 episodes in, and I haven't seen anybody do anything really super. No action, no conflict.
No.
A little bit of conflict at the end of episode 3.
Man, I'm just still blown away by Elizabeth Olsen's switch from doting mother to, oh my god, look at these beautiful children I made, reminiscing, getting sad about Pietro, and then when she looks at Geraldine/Monica, and she's like, why the fuck did you say Ultron's name? And throws her ass out. It's terrifying. She is absolutely terrifying in that moment. And then Vision walks in, already a little off about what just happened outside, and then...
Right, because things are definitely... I mean, so the thing that we don't talk about, and if you know, I mean, is obviously in episode 3, things start glitching. We start seeing cracks in this universe. Little things. For the first time. I don't remember anything in the first 2 episodes. Am I missing something?
The first episode is when his boss is choking. Mr. Hart's choking.
Right.
They just sit there. They don't react at all.
Right.
And Deborah Jo Rupp's character is repeating over and over again, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! And then it focuses in on Scarlet Witch. I find it so fascinating in that moment that you don't see Vision's face at all.
Right.
Like, it's just his back, and then it focuses on Deborah Jo Rupp, and then on Elizabeth Olsen, like she's clearly talking to Scarlet Witch. So, to me, that says, you're the one in control, you're the only one who can stop this. Vision can't interfere until Scarlet Witch tells him to. So I think that's the first.
Which would certainly support the idea that this whole universe is a creation in Wanda's mind in reaction to what we don't know, but which explains why the Vision, who is definitely dead,
super dead, super
is
duper dead,
here and alive, and apparently can father children, which apparently can gestate and be born in less than 12 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think it's very clear to say that if you don't like mysteries, and if you don't like constantly sitting on the edge of your seat and waiting to find out what's going to happen next, this is not the show for you. Do not watch this show until all 9 episodes are released and you can sit down for 4 straight hours and watch the whole thing. Because then you're going to get your answers. I'm sure we're going to be left with some giant question at the end.
Hopefully. I mean, it's not that I don't love mystery. It's that I don't know what... You know, it's horrible to say, I have to admit this, but like I want to put this show into some sort of box, into some sort of category. I want it to be an action superhero show. I want it to be science fiction. You know what I mean? Like, and so far it's like a comedic send-up with some weirdness. Like,
yeah.
It was like an episode of Twilight Zone written by drunks. I don't know. I mean,
and they're like, what are we going to do next week?
Yeah.
I don't know, let's try some acid and give this another shot.
Yeah, so and where are we going next week? So, is it at the 80s?
Yep. Every episode is a new decade. So next week we'll be in the 80s with big old feathered curled hair and that shot of Catherine Hahn in the trailer sitting in her leg warmers and she just
that's right.
yeah.
I wonder what show they're gonna double on then. I don't know.
Well, 80s. I mean, the big ones that stick out for me, I can't even remember the name of because I never liked them in reruns.
You were a little kid. I mean, for part of it.
Yeah.
Very small part of it. I don't know.
Shoot, the ones with the girls, are they in like a boarding school?
Oh, yeah. The, I don't remember that name.
And then the Michael J. Fox one. Those are the 2 big core 80s ones.
Okay. Sure.
That were around during all of the 80s versus like the last year,
Right.
because then you're hitting... I'm thinking they're going to choose, like... I don't know, are they going to go kind of Cosby when they hit the 90s?
Which...
I'm going to tell you right now, Fresh Prince is real fresh on my mind since I just finished watching the reunion. If I look like I've been crying for an hour and a half, it's because I was crying for an hour and a half.
Why were you crying
whole
during
way
the Fresh
through?
Prince?
Because that was my whole childhood. I was so invested. And then they bring out, he makes up with the original Aunt Vivian, and it was emotional. And then the send up to James Avery, Uncle Phil, and yeah. Anyways, so...
I'm so not connected to that show. I'm so my age right now.
Oh, Fresh Prince, I heart you. I literally woke up the other morning just singing the theme song for whatever reason. Normally, the theme song to the early 90s Disney cartoon show Gummy Bears is what gets me out of bed, but this is a Fresh Prince kind of day, apparently. Yeah. Gotta get up, gotta get going. Yeah, Gummy Bears.
No, you can't. Gummy Bears?
Yes, the Gummy Bears. Okay. WandaVision. So we have the 80s, the 90s. Apparently, okay. I think Modern Family is what they're doing for the 2000s. You making a list of decades? Or matching it to episodes?
Well, I mean, so we started in the 60s?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 70?
Wait, no. 50, 60, 70.
50s. Oh. Dick Van Dyke was 60s, girl.
It was the 50s.
I guess maybe Lucy.
Episode 3 is the 70s, yeah.
Okay. 80s, 90s, aughts.
Okay. Sorry for the dead silence here.
Yeah, we're writing down the... So, okay,
so something has to stretch out, or they break through the wall of reality. They break the fourth wall. Which,
at the end of episode 3, we see one character get ejected from something.
Geraldine/Monica.
Right. Gets ejected from something and ends up in a field where there's all this military gear and helicopters. Mm-hmm. And do we see any sword logos?
Yes. Yeah.
We do.
I mean, there's the sword logo
No, but I mean, in that one little scene, in that where she's lands on the ground and all these people come up and surround her.
I think it's on the Westview sign. Apparently, there's like 4 Easter eggs on that Westview sign, but I didn't follow that trail. There's so many Easter eggs in the entire show, it's ridiculous. But here's what I love. Okay, so the title alone, WandaVision, one single word. Is it just combining the two of them because now they're married and you can consider them as one unit? Is it also a send up to television and how television did that a lot? I can't. There are specific examples that are not coming to mind.
Her viewpoint.
Yeah, is it Wanda's vision?
Right.
Like, does she physically own this vision because he's created from her mind?
Right. Is she created this whole thing?
Yeah. There's so many questions alone in the title that shows a level of dedication and love. The level of detail in the shows and the production for each decade. For instance, I learned today that they painted Paul Bettany blue instead of red because blue shows up better in grayscale.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's a whole story about Hitchcock looking for the right blue dress for Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and yeah, it's... Black and white's a whole different world, and you have to really think about it in terms of tone rather than color doesn't obviously mean it. So.
Yeah. So they had the detail there. There's information about the detail that the director and the camera people did to get the filming just right. The different kinds of lenses they used. Like, they don't use LED lighting. They use a specific kind of lighting to get, again, that same shading on the sets for the black and white episodes.
And the photography's nice. The photography's really nice in the show.
Yeah, that's all you. Like, that, yeah, you can speak to that.
But no, it's gorgeous. I mean, they did a really nice job, especially with the black and white episodes, which again, I know that you can take a picture on your phone and make it black and white in just a stroke, but to do black and white right, like they used to do back in the old days, they, again, sometimes colors for things weren't real colors because certain colors photograph differently, reflect light differently in a grayscale tone, in a grayscale environment. So you have to adjust those things so that doesn't matter that it's really red and you took it with a black and white camera. It has to have that same richness of tone. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm rambling anyway, but yeah. The nice thing is, WandaVision, they did a really good job. Whoever and I should know this, right? Who the DP is, but I don't know.
IMDb can tell us.
There you go.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody who does that. But the level and attention to detail for all of that, it makes perfect sense. The amount of Easter eggs that are hidden away in every single episode, and specifically in the title sequences.
There's that too, which is crazy. Clearly, the good news about WandaVision, no matter what they do with the story, and maybe the story is going to be awesome and amazing, maybe the story is going to be complete shite. I have to say, though, the care that they put into this is not like a TV show. You want to say, oh, well, it's cheaper to make the TV show, and the production values
are $25 million per episode.
Yeah, the production values on this show are amazing. And you may not notice it right away because it's old-timey video, quote-unquote. It ain't. It ain't.
And we were even talking about using the detail of widescreen versus...
right. Right. The show starts in 4:3 in black and white, and the third episode, it goes to color, and eventually, towards the end, right?
When she gets thrown out.
Yeah, it goes to 16:9 from 4:3. So, I mean, they've thought about a lot of stuff here. Whether or not you're taken in by it, that's up to you.
Including the detail of the commercials. I love the commercials. I love that. I feel like there are things that you would actually see at that time in the MCU. And then I love the joke. One of the things I saw online. So the first episode is the commercial for the toaster, which then you hear the beeping at the end, which leads you to believe she's connected to some sort of medical things in the real world, because that is the distinct sound of a monitor in a hospital room. But that toaster, super fancy, look at me, expensive toaster, is created by Stark Industries.
Right.
Episode 2, you get the Strucker watch, and someone had posted on whichever article I was reading saying that those are two very important people in Wanda's life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in our MCU timeline, she and Pietro sat there for days on end staring at that Stark bomb waiting for it to go off. Right. And then Strucker is the one who played around using the Mind Stone to create their powers. Then that leads us to episodes 3 commercial, my personal favorite since I am an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. And everyone who thinks that it is not a very specific shout-out to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson's mind-controlling soap is a dum-dum. It's not just a coincidence. There's nothing in the MCU that is just a coincidence. Hydra soap, the way that they film the commercial where it looks like Tahiti, which is where Coulson was. Project Tahiti is what got his mind erased and him brought back to life. Yeah, if you think that's a coincidence, then you need to up your fan level. That's all I'm saying.
Again, there's so much going on, and we haven't even really talked about the whole shield sword thing.
Yeah, God, we haven't even touched there.
Throughout it.
Yep.
So, you know more about this than I do, again, because you're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan and all that, but somehow...
Okay, so, Sword, space version of S.H.I.E.L.D., to shorten it. And again, I don't know much history on Sword, But what we've seen on physical film in the MCU was specifically at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, when you see Nick Fury on the, not Kree, but...
Krull.
Yeah, he's on that ship. And again, this is another very specific moment.
Skrull.
The beach that he's on is identical or near identical to the one that they constantly show Coulson on through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So clearly a simulation that somebody has, sure.
Yes, it is very identical. He's sitting there barefoot, and then he gets the call, hey, shit went down on Earth, you gotta get back to work. And the Skrull are a big proponent of S.W.O.R.D. I believe, I could be wrong, somebody out there could see this and be like, what's that idiot talking about? Shut your dumb mouth. Which is fine, he says that in his mind a lot. Yeah.
It's not true.
Anyways, so that is the first, that's the first image that we're led to believe, if you know that S.W.O.R.D. exists, that S.W.O.R.D. exists in this world.
So at some point in the future, S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes S.W.O.R.D. for various complex multi-season reasons.
Not becomes, S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D. are two separate
things. But S.W.O.R.D. comes from S.H.I.E.L.D. People from S.H.I.E.L.D. start S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah, I think so. So, the next one that you don't actually see, but some of us as fans kind of believe, in the finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, goes off on a spaceship to go do stuff in space.
Which is a good way to do that,
Yeah. She, her boyfriend, and her newfound sister go off to space. She's technically still an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but she just takes the team and goes to space to go do space stuff. And one would assume, because she's not the type of character to just... Well, she attempted giving up being a spy. It did not work out for her. It did not work out well. She came back real quick.
Yeah. It's a hard life to lead.
Yeah. I mean, when you're used to dispensing justice, you don't just give it up that easily. So one would assume she goes to space to dispense justice. And if Nick Fury is already in space as part of S.W.O.R.D., then she would theoretically go to join S.W.O.R.D. and or form S.W.O.R.D.
So somehow, S.W.O.R.D. is involved with Wanda.
Yep.
And we don't know if it's in a confrontational standpoint, if they're doing something to her, or if they're trying to help her. That we don't know.
It's a question mark.
Yeah.
I kind of love that about this show. Everything is a question mark.
I will admit, I want to see shit blow up. I want to see people in spandexy outfits fighting. But I also appreciate a well set up thing. And I don't mind. I've got... If I don't see something blow up next episode, I'm going to start my disappointment curve. I'm not saying I'm giving up. I'm just saying, like, I will be like, on a 9-episode run, you got to give me something halfway through.
Yeah, if you're at episode 4, you're almost done. Like, there needs to be something.
Well, or just you know what, reassure me that by episode 9, there's going to be all kinds of cool things going on. And it's Marvel, right? I have faith. Not like DC, where I have zero faith. So, all
right, well, I think this leads us back around to, if you know all the tiny details and you are an obsessive, compulsive Marvel comic book fan, where you've read every comic there is, then this show it's a love letter to you, and you got to be walking around on cloud freaking 9, because you know all these amazing things that the rest of us dum-dums don't have any clue about.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Vision family thing.
Which I I only vaguely know. A few years back, I wanted to look for some new comics. I'm like, let's check out Vision. It was probably when Ultron came out, because I had never even heard of Vision at that time. So that's probably when I first looked into the Vision storyline and found out that, because I knew about Wanda, because I'm an X-Men fan, so I knew about Wanda, and I learned about her and Vision being a couple and moving to the suburbs, and that was pretty much it. Like, I knew that they had kids named Wiccan and Speed, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, maybe I'll read this one day. But I never went back. Then the latest Vision is Vision creates his own synthesoid family, moves to the suburbs again.
Right. With no Wanda at all.
No Wanda.
This is, which, you know, again, I get bored with the whole it's against canon arguments, because there are books, there are comic books, there are graphic novels, there are movies. I'm a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, and if you don't know what that is, kill yourself. No, don't kill yourself. But
never do that. That is no.
But go to the library and get the books. Okay, I mean, and that storyline exists in so many different versions that it doesn't bother me when someone, you can still be reverent and appreciative and create an amazing thing without doing the exact same thing in one medium that they did in another. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow you.
Okay.
And I think WandaVision is the perfect example of that, if you can hold through.
Well,
if you can hold on until the action starts.
And if they end it well, I'm going to be dying for season 2. Dying.
If there would even be a season 2.
Right? And why wouldn't?
Because we know that Wanda goes off and is somehow involved ultimately in Doctor Strange. So I don't know what happens there. And then the other thing, okay, we're because we don't really know anything about anything. This is all pure speculation. This? Yeah, we're asking the questions and stating facts that you've already asked yourself and seen.
And if you have answers, please, in the
tell
comments.
Us.
Thank you.
I beg of you. I want to know. So, the idea is that this show is mainly focused off of the House of M story arc in the X-Men universe. In the House of M, Wanda's powers have become so strong and potent that Professor X has become frightened of her abilities. And he holds a council with Avengers, X-Men. I know Magneto's not there. Quicksilver eavesdrops because he's Quicksilver, and I'm sure nobody noticed a breeze. But they're discussing what to do, and one of the solutions is to just kill Wanda.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking dark, man.
Yeah.
So before a decision can be made, this news travels back to Magneto and Wanda, and then everybody wakes up in an alternate universe where mutants don't exist. Very few people have very accurate memories. For instance, Hawkeye was dead, and now he's alive in this universe. Wanda gets her perfect family, she has her children, and this is all brought about by, I'm going to fuck his name up like nobody's business, so I'm just going to refer to him as the MCU devil, Mephisto.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't screw it up at all.
Okay, cool. So that's the huge thing that people are talking about, is that this world is created by Mephisto, similar to in the books, and that Mephisto is being set up to be the next big bad that everybody ends up fighting in the end. And now I'm going to share a very specific article.
Uh-oh.
Alright, so...
She's going to a reference material.
Yes. I have several. So first, shout out to the Hollywood Reporter. Let's see here. Richard Newby is the journalist for this piece, because this is where I got some crazy good information. Let's see if I can find the line exactly. Okay. During the iconic storyline, The Infinity Gauntlet, Mephisto guides Thanos in the use of the Infinity Gems as part of his plan to acquire them himself. Okay, never mind. It's further up. Apparently, Mephisto first appears in the Silver Surfer, which, I mean, if you really want to go multiverse madness, could you imagine jumping into the second Fantastic Four movie with the rise of the Silver Surfer? Like, let's not, guys. I have a special place in my heart for the Fantastic Four movies. A special, silly...
In your heart?
In my heart. It's a tiny, tiny room that I store silly things in that star handsome men. And super hot women. Like...
I won't argue with that either.
Okay, here we go. The being of pure evil was born when the one above all, a supreme cosmic being, Thanos, died by suicide. Where did we almost see that?
Well, Thanos destroying himself?
I said almost.
Well, when he destroyed the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
He almost killed himself.
Thor came in, finishes the job. So
Thor comes in and
the idea being your cosmic bad guy would be Thanos. His death and his quest catch the attention of the demon, the mutant, the inhuman, whatever
Mephisto is? Yeah, I have no idea.
Your choice, evil scientist who fell into a vat of chemicals. I don't know.
I don't know the origin story either, and sometimes that's where these things fall down, you know?
Yeah, like, well...
How did Antimatter Boy get his powers? Let's not go there, you know?
It's not the same as Spider-Man, where we've seen the story 1,000 times. We don't need to hear it. Anyways, so that's the idea, is this big giant fight catches Mephisto's attention, and then his eye gets caught, I would say, by Wanda. And here's someone who comes out of Endgame and Infinity with such a great sense of loss. And one of the many articles I read today pointed out that she never actually deals with Pietro's death. She just joins the Avengers and moves on.
Well, I mean... We don't... Right, there's none of that on screen. Yeah. We have no idea how she deals with it.
So as a viewer, you kind of assume she does. But,
I mean, it's her brother.
Yeah.
They seem to be close. So, yeah.
In this scene, when she starts talking about him, it seems like she didn't. Like, she didn't deal with it at all because she's so pained by it.
Yeah... I don't know. I may disagree with you a little bit.
Okay, totally fair.
So, I mean, when you lose someone that you're very close to, you can deal with it. But it never goes away.
Very true.
And a lot of times, you think you deal with it, and then 5-10 years later, you think you deal with it. And then 5 or 10 years. So... Okay. I just, again, there's so much we don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's fine with her brother. Maybe she's at peace with it. Maybe it eats at her every day.
PSA, however you deal with loss as a person and people who have lost people that we love and care about, there is no right or wrong way. It's all specific to you. I'm saying from my personal viewpoint, this struck a chord.
Sure.
And seeing her display in episode 3, it struck a chord like maybe she really hasn't found a way to process it. And then perhaps she did process it and the loss of vision. And then we also lose, for Wanda, it's specifically vision. But the loss of everybody else, like Black Widow, can bring up those memories. So, like you said, where you think you might have dealt with it, you really didn't because you're losing all these people again.
Right. Well, I mean, she loses her brother, and then she loses her boyfriend, her soulmate, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the one, like, the death in her life, the loss in her life that we really, like, holy shit, has she dealt with that? Well, all of a sudden, he's back. He's alive and everything's cool.
See, okay, and then let's go back to, like you said, wow, we're going to flip from super serious to, sorry.
Go for it.
You had your comment, and you've been super stuck on Wanda's lack of an accent.
Yeah.
But you also have to notice that Paul Bettany does not put on his Vision voice either. So when you watch...
Yeah, I mean, you still hear the accent and all that. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, he's not all of a sudden speaking American.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yes, an English accent just gone.
Yeah.
No, but he's less
But he's not
robotic.
doing the Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which, I mean, if you do watch the movies, his voice, he becomes less robotic as he becomes more human.
Sure.
But he's very human. Very, very human.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, he's playing it. Yeah.
Well,
which, again, like, so it's obviously not Vision. It's
something or someone.
Some sort of, yeah.
There's a something somewhere doing something, maybe.
That looks like Vision. And Wanda gives birth to twins, and it's the most bizarre.
Can I say shout out to that birth scene? How 70s was that? Laying down behind the couch, the angle of the camera, so you still see her giant belly, and as she gives birth twice, like, nothing happens, and then she stands up and she's flat.
Right. She's got this big belly after having given birth the second time. Mm-hmm. Still got the belly, and then, she stands up and, like, boop, it's gone.
Yeah. No, she's not even sweaty.
No.
Not in TV land. That's not how things work here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, nobody even comes by with a little napkin to do this to her brow.
Absolutely freaking love that.
I guess that's the definition of a superhero. I can give birth to twins and have absolutely no exterior sign that it happened.
Go about my day. Now, see, if they were in the 90s, it would have been different, because now I'm thinking about the Full House episode when... Oh, wow. Let's play a game of Connect the Dots. Full House episode of when, Jesse is married to... She just got out of jail!
I never
Uncle Jesse and Aunt Becky. There we go.
Aunt Becky.
So Aunt Becky, she gives birth to the twins. She and Danny are TV hosts, so Danny thinks it's a great idea to bring the camera crew in, and she's sweaty and gross because she's giving birth. Like, it was one of the first times on television where birth actually looked like birth.
Right, it wasn't like on WandaVision.
Yeah. So the idea that we're playing that fun game of Connect the Dots, Full House, Olsen twins, Elizabeth Olsen. Which, apparently, I just learned she did a walk-on role in the reboot in Fuller House. So that's
Elizabeth
pretty...
did.
Yeah, so I gotta go catch up.
But her sisters weren't on that show.
They were.
They
didn't go back for Fuller House. And they kept constantly getting called out for it. So they didn't go, but she did. That's so now I need to go find out, like...
Well, I bet they hate each other now.
I don't know, I don't think so.
Kill myself for suggesting that that's a worthwhile topic of discussion.
Anyways, so...
I'm my own worst enemy. In every sense.
This show is going a lot like WandaVision, where it seems to make sense for a minute, and then...
Not much. Yeah, I mean, it's such a bundle of theories and speculation, which is both fun and a little bit frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're less frustrated than I am, and I'm not that frustrated. Like,
yes, on your level of frustration, you're at like a 2.
Yeah. This is like I'm fine with this, but I again, I love these characters and I love the MCU and I want more. I want to see. I want them to get to the point. And maybe the whole point is the journey, and it'll just like she'll fall out of bed in the last episode, and it'll have been a dream, and everything's okay.
Please don't.
And Vision's still dead, and there's no twins, and
please don't.
I mean,
do anything in the world but that.
The classic Dallas, like, did something happen?
Oh,
I know. I don't think.
What if they do that for like Dallas? Was that 80s or?
I'm sorry.
Was Dallas in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a moment where one of my theories after episode 1 and 2 was, what if, and it's not that crazy outlandish of a theory, as each episode goes on, the camera changes but what if, I had said, what if each episode gets longer, the more they leave the sitcom idea.
That'd be cool if they did that.
Apparently the credits are 6 minutes.
The credits are really long.
Yeah. I just let it play so that I can, when I go for the next episode, the credits are super impressive too.
The credits are gorgeous, but when you've seen them once, you've seen them. I hate to say that. I don't think there's anything deeper going on there.
No.
Not like the openings that are all weird and different. And I do want to say one thing. I'm a little sad that Marvel has abandoned the post-credits tease. I'm a little sad for that. I think that was something that... Look, I'm old enough to remember when people got up and walked out when the movie was over.
I'm that old too.
Okay? And now you never do that because you might miss something amazing.
Just in case, you could have a mid-credit scene and or a post-credit scene, and if you get up because you gotta pee, you're fucked.
So there's nothing worse than being locked into having to do something like that limits your creativity and that kind of straitjackets you sometimes. But the other side of it is, damn it, you started this, keep it going.
But it also doesn't fit into the sitcom realm where the commercials do.
I hope they had a good argument about this. I don't know. I mean,
All right.
I want what I want.
That's fair. Okay, so let's circle back to this Mephisto thing, since it seems to be the biggest thing, which also circles us back to Evan Peters, a.k.a. Ass Kicker, a.k.a. Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. The continuation of that theory is that Speed grows up, you have Evan Peters, but he's really Mephisto. Because somehow you get a version of, that was the other one, Kick-Ass, so the MCU Pietro might be coming back as Quicksilver / Mephisto. So, yay, you get your brother, or yay, you get your son, but he's really the devil.
Yeah. What?
Exactly.
See, I gotta tell you, at some level, I hope they're not gonna do anything with Mephisto at all. Mm-hmm. Not at all.
So, all the red, all the 666s.
I'm just...
No.
I just hope not. I just, I don't... There's... Any universe has certain rules. And, if it's constantly... If it's infinite regression, if it's a house of mirrors, where there's always a slightly more powerful god behind that one, like Thanos was whatever he was, and I just... Sometimes it's okay to keep the struggle amongst non-immortal deities. Mm-hmm. Thor watches his brother get choked to death. But Thor is a god. Well, clearly, maybe not the kind of god. You know what I mean?
Not as godly as one would think.
If he can get choked out by a big purple dude.
Okay, well.
So, I just hope they avoid that whole sort of... I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's why I didn't like I love Benedict Cumberbatch, and I love the Doctor Strange movie, and I think Doctor Strange is a great character in the MCU. In the books, in the comic books, to me it's really boring because every story ends one of two ways. Doctor Strange has a powerful new spell that fixes everything. Doctor Strange has cleverly outthought the villain with a powerful new spell that fixes everything.
This is the argument as to why Spider-Man is the most popular comic book character, ever, followed also by Batman, because they don't win every time.
Right.
Because even though Spider-Man has his special gifts, he's got the Parker luck, which honestly, in my opinion, is 90% teenager bitching. You had a bad day. Tomorrow will be better. Get over it, kid. You just happen to have superpowers, and a supervillain winning is a little more important than everything else. Batman, yeah, he's got his money, and he can have the tech, but people still die in their worlds. People get injured. They don't get back up, and it makes it more real and more relatable.
Well, I mean, Batman gets his ass kicked, and he gets his ass kicked. It's not like, I'm better, I can heal instantly, Spider-Man's certainly a lot more resilient, but I think the other thing with Spider-Man and Batman, though, is that almost in every case, again, I'm sure you guys have read some graphic novel that is going to prove me wrong. My apologies. But for the most time, they're fighting peers. Mm-hmm. They're fighting other humans or super people or people with special powers, but they're not fighting gods. And they're not invoking magic.
Yeah.
And it's a more relatable clash, even as epic and huge and powerful as it can be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I just, sometimes the supernatural stuff leaves me a little cold.
Then you're really going to hate where this is going.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, you're aware Moon Knight will be joining the MCU.
Yeah, and I love the visuals. I'm never a big Moon Knight fan.
So, Moon Knight, magical character.
Yeah.
I could read you what was written. Long and short of it is, there are apparently a whole bunch of visuals that lean towards the magic side of the universe. Now, there's the little hints of highlighting red, which could be Wanda / Scarlet Witch
right.
/ Vision. They're all about the red, but then red is the color of the devil.
Says who?
Yes. The 666, which is on the toaster. The neighbor Agnes making comments about the devil being in the detail is what Dottie says in episode 2. So these are little hints that are supposed to lead us to believe in Mephisto. Then you have the theory that Agnes is a character called Agatha Harkness, which if you've read or seen anything with a witch ever, Agatha Harkness does hold some anything. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, there's an Agatha Harkness. So, apparently in the MCU world, Wanda learns to control not just her mutant abilities, but the actual magical side from Agnes. And Agnes is neither good nor bad. She's kind of just like an agent of chaos. You can learn from me, and then you choose to do whatever you want with what I give you. But she's tied to Mephisto as a lover, and then there's...
She's literally doing the devil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So, the necklace that she wears in every single episode, I haven't looked at it closely. I almost went back and looked today, but I chose not to. I restrained myself. Apparently, it's the silhouette of a scathe, and they're also referring to another magical character, not Hecate, but there's some complicated thing where they're like, this is how you can first introduce Moon Knight, and this character, and it's represented by her pin. and the hexagons that we talked about. The
Right.
hexagons, which are very prominent in all 3 opening sequences. If you notice in episode 3, Geraldine's earrings are not hoops, they're hexagons, and her shirt is all hexagons. The weaving is all shaped into hexagon forms. The idea being that hexagon, it's all related to the devil. The Halloween episode is supposed to be...
What about the bees? Are the bees?
The bees,
fiendish
yes. Oh,
and
yeah, that was the...
diabolical?
I don't know about the bees. I don't know anything about bees. I haven't even bothered to try and research if bees have anything to do with the MCU.
Well, they
The
clearly
comics.
do.
Yeah, they're important somehow.
Right.
Yeah, but then like episode 6 is supposed to be the Halloween episode. Halloween, Hecate, magic, and that's the episode where we know that Agnes reveals to Vision that he's dead. Now, is this going to be another moment that Wanda can just reverse and take back? Because that's what she does. Anytime something doesn't go her way, she can just say, sorry, done, didn't happen anymore.
And, yeah, I mean, is this Vision, quote-unquote, actual sentient sort of creation of Wanda's, or is it just a hologram that's following her?
Yeah, so how much does it matter if he does figure something out?
Right.
Now, if he's a creation of her subconscious, and he's slowly figuring things out on his own, is that her guilt manifesting?
I don't know.
There's so many questions. So again, if you don't like questions, wait until all 9 episodes are out.
Yeah.
And then you won't be doing this, which is what we've done after each episode and are now recording.
Mostly out of frustration. No, we already addressed that issue.
Yeah, because we don't know. And anytime you learn something new, you still don't fucking
You
know.
still don't know. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
That is the brilliance of what they've done so far, is that they've sucked us in for a couple of hours and told us almost nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. You don't know anything. You know there's a sword symbol. You know there's a guy in a beekeeper outfit with a sword symbol on his back. Which, come on, guys. Somebody else out there has to realize that their sword symbol looks a lot like the Jedi symbol. If you're there, you know what I'm talking about. It's on a book in my room. I'm just too lazy to look for it. Yeah, but so you know there's a sword. You know that there are bees. And you know that there is a world outside. So if this is all in Wanda's head, and she's laying in a hospital bed somewhere, which is what episode 1 kind of leads you to believe with the sound of the hospital room, then how can she throw Geraldine/Monica out?
Oh, right. What is she throwing her out of?
Yeah. How'd she get there? Was she sent in? Was she dragged in?
And what did she throw her out of? Was it the artificial world and then into another artificial world or another real world? Or yeah.
No idea. Don't know anything.
And on that note, check back soon for the next episode.
Or maybe we might know something.
Or maybe we might know something, and we'll share it with you. And if we don't know something, we'll be here doing this again. Please, in the comments, tell us what the real answer is, because we don't know.
Yeah. We didn't even touch on the Dottie/Anya thing, because it's a whole thing. Anyways, I love.
Do you want to talk about it? I mean,
actress who plays Dottie came to fame on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where she's a vengeance demon who gives up the ways of vengeance, starts out as a witch, upgrades to demon, lives for centuries, meets Xander, falls in love, gives up her ways, much like a certain witch on Bewitched we might know. Yeah. And in the wonderful musical episode, they actually really delve into that, like her regrets. So it's kind of a fun, like, does Wanda have regrets? Does she want to give things up so she can have a normal life where the chances of your loved ones dying in horrific, supernatural, superpowered ways are less likely to occur. Yeah. And then the significance of Deborah Jo Rupp, I was really thrown off by her being in the title credits in the first 2 episodes, and then just gone. Because here's a sitcom standard. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
See ya.
Yeah, you're out of here. The MCU's done with you. Goodbye.
Questions,
That was a good
answers.
paycheck.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I find it hilarious that she makes it through the 50s and 60s, but then they leave her out of the 70s.
It's another one of those.
Disney owns Fox. Fox owns that 70s show. I want that multiverse. Oh, because Topher Grace, Venom, Spider-Man, multiverse. I want, come on guys.
Epiphany.
Give me this.
This is what it looks like.
It would be so magical. That 70s show in the MCU.
Yeah.
And WandaVision would be such a magical place for that to happen.
That, no.
Please.
Okay, you can have it. I don't care.
What if the TV's on in one episode and the background is that 70s show?
Which would mean it took place in the aughts.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Hit subscribe. Maybe share the show with a friend if you enjoy it. But if you enjoy it, that's enough. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. We also appreciate any insights that you might have so that we're a little less frustrated.
Me, at least. Brie will actually do research and find answers. I just kind of sit there stupidly and go, oh.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Maybe next week. No, wait. Let's see. Friday. Yeah, we'll have an episode. We'll see you soon with more WandaVision and something else.
Adios.